All I see is a guy, a grown man laying in bed in the middle of the day watching TV. This is my house. I do what I want to do.
This is my house. Y'all gave this to me.
I pay the bills in here. You're my daughter. He doesn't belong to me. This is a grown man laying in bed. He needs to get himself and get up out of here.
Tell him stop recording.
Man, I'll record what I want to record in this house. This is my house. This is my daughter. You go up front. I had enough. You go up front. I'm about sick and tired of you picking these deadbeat guys, bringing them up in my house when you can do so much better with yourself.
He's telling me what I need to do. He's telling me how to live my life.
I'm not trying to tell you how to live your life. I'm just telling you how to live in my house. I pay the bills in here.
If you're my go.
No, you don't need to go. You're my responsibility. You're my responsibility. I'm not trying to control you. I'm just trying to do the best for you.
You're trying to live my life.
I don't want you.
If he goes, I go.
No, you stay here. He goes. And what's taking you so long?
Stop talking to him. No, listen to him. I'm gonna really. Mom has no idea you're here.
She knows I'm here.
No, she can't possibly.
You are my daughter. I love you. And I want the best for you.
I'm sick of this.
I'm about sick and tired of deadbeat guys coming in here. Look. It's time for you to go. No, you stay here. You stay here. It's time for you to go, bro. Enough. Enough.
I'm not even stay here.
Oh, you staying here. It's time for you to go. Enough of these deadbeat guys coming in here. I get this video clips, this set of video clips, because it's actually 2 instead of 1, from eman67 RP forum. That's why I got it for him, putting a shout out, because I took these clips from his channel, and I want to be honest about that. I like to give credit where credit due and shit. I'm pretty much doing it verbally when I'm pretty much done, putting it in my, my box downstairs, because over the last couple of weeks, I sent shout outs, I added people and shit. They made videos based on my material and they didn't give me no shout out. And I don't give a fuck how nobody feel about this shit, but I always give credit where credit's due. Even if I use someone's phrase and whatnot, I say it, I write it down in the content of the video and shit. But let's move on and whatnot. This is a set of clips, the TikTok clips, where a father is putting out a deadbeat, his daughter's boyfriend, who's just shacking up. He's squatting in their house. I don't know if it's an apartment that he's paying for his daughter, or like an actual house, but he's putting out the wayward boyfriend who doesn't have a job and seems to just lay around. The father's had enough. And the daughter's being, she's being performative and shit. She's being loud. She's being disrespectful to her father and shit. He has a legitimate reason to want to put this guy out of the house and shit, but she's bitching and everything. And I posit that he was actually very nice to both people and shit or whatnot, when you consider what's going on. He's paying for the house, all right? He's paying for the house, apparently. And she's brought a wayward pookie into the house and allowed him to just, lounge about and, use up shit, use up resources and tangibles and shit. And he ain't doing nothing. So the father feels like he has to go because he's not, pulling his weight and shit, I guess. And I agree with that and shit, but I disagree with how nice he was and whatnot. I don't think that he should have been, in this day and age, I don't think that he should have been alone in the house. I think that he should have brought the mother with him, if they're still married and shit, and had the mother talk to the daughter or not. She shouldn't have been mouthing off like that. I'd have been like, hey, you pack your shit up too. Hey, you get a bag too and you go with Pookie. Because she's threatening him. She's a daddy's girl, I guess. You know, maybe he spoiled her. It might be. But she's like, if he goes, I go. I'd be like, bye. He should be like, bye. No more talking. Start packing your shit up. Get all your shit and bounce. Once you leave, you ain't coming back in here. You know? I know it seems harsh to some people within the sound of my voice, but it's in her disposition to do this. Alright? I just want to be honest. I think it's in a lot of women's disposition to do shit like this or whatnot. She wants to have just a fucking playhouse and shit, a paid for playhouse so that her and Pookie could just, shack up and have sex and, eat food they ain't pay for and use power and energy they didn't pay for and shit and give nothing back and shit. And then, hopefully she doesn't have no kids with him yet or nothing. I would have been like, fuck, man. Shit, she need to back up. Be honest, she needs some domestic discipline and shit to go with that eviction and shit, to be honest. But she don't appreciate a goddamn thing. She ain't go out and find no viable life candidate that matches whatever she's doing. Maybe she has a job or something. She didn't say anything. She didn't say she paid for shit. She just was bitching and acting like an asshole. And when she knocked that shit off that counter, I would have been like, hey, go pack your shit up. You can go too. Don't say nothing else. Don't say nothing else. I'll put her fucking ass out. Why not? I'll put her out. I'll tell the dude, I say, dude, get to walking. But I think he should have had other people there. I think other guys are there. See, his daughter don't understand the power she has to fuck up his family, to fuck up the future of his family, the family tree and whatnot. Then she gets with this wastrel motherfucker, and then he end up taking care of them like they're some giant babies and shit. And then she have a couple of kids and shit. Now he got the stress of another, ghost family on his back and shit he got to carry because Pookie don't got no fucking job. He just banging your daughter and shit with probably ain't using no protection or nothing and shit, and having kids and putting strain on the household, destroying it. The nuclear family is in the toilet, man, these days, in the wood chipper. A lot of it is due to bad decisions made by these women. They pick the worst candidates. They're predisposed to do that, okay? They're picking them probably based on, the visual, And he appeals to her in a certain kind of way. He calls out to her, sexually or whatever, It's like that since the days of chattel slavery and shit. They didn't see no value in having a smart Negro out there, in the fields. They didn't see no value in having a smart nigga. So a lot of motherfuckers had to hide their intelligence and play dumb and shit. And they mostly let these women mate with these big ass brutes, these brainless numbskulls and shit, Sambos, if you will, and I think like they're just genetically predisposed to do that and shit, And I don't want to throw nobody on Front Street, but, somebody very close to me, they're with a guy that, he can't get shit done. And he lay up under the females of the family all the time, and just have a hangdog look on his face and shit. And the female has, the kids, and the kids have this same demeanor. It's just bled onto them, and it's actually from both parents. It's not just from the one parent and shit. And it's just like you women don't realize that what you're doing and shit. It's not bullshit. It's biology, okay? Whatever you're going through, whatever your psychological issues, you imprint that on your fucking kids and shit. So if you're a piece of shit, more often than not, your kids are gonna be a piece of shit. Okay? If you have babies with a fucked up maniac and shit, your kids are gonna have those tendencies, genetically speaking and shit. So it behooves you, it behooves the father to do what he can to save his fucking family and shit. And I hope he's young enough to have like at least one more fucking kid and shit. So I'd be like thinking like I gotta have some more fucking kids. Back in the old days, my parents came from the pre-civil rights South and everything. A lot of people had like kids, like in a double digits and shit, like from like 7 kids. I'm putting out no information. Some people had 10, 11 kids. And out of those kids, you got there's a few good ones, there's a few messed up ones. All right, and I think it's fucked up. I think that. Biologically speaking, she just want to, shit all over, her family. She don't give a fuck about anything. She don't care about nothing except fucking up their family and being, with this Pookie nigga and shit. And you gotta make it, hard for him and shit. And say, hey, bitch, if you want to act like an asshole and shit, you could go too, okay? It's gonna be like Lot's wife and shit. I'm gonna put your ass out. Don't look back or you turn to a pillar of salt. In this case, I will go down to the court and file eviction papers for your ass if my name on the fucking lease and shit. Because you can't just put somebody out like that and shit, especially if they've been squatting there for a while. You actually have to file an eviction and shit. And I will file an eviction and a restraining order on her Pookie and shit, And I tell her, hey, bounce. And I tell my wife, hey, if I see her around here, you gotta go. You gotta go. Because a lot of times their mothers pass this shitty behavior onto their kids. They're supposed to train it out of them. The fucked up things and shit, the things you don't want, she don't want to adhere to. She shouldn't be in the fucking house. She don't have no benefit. I'll tell you, like, when you leave your last fucking name here. You leave everything here. She gonna take Pookie's last name. I don't give a fuck what happens to you. I'm not gonna do nothing for you, okay? If you want to shit on me after all I did for you, then you ain't my fucking daughter. This message has been paid for by the Dusties. Yes, the niggas you love to hate.